signal he might investigate the FBI's Office of DEI, demanding the agency preserve and retain all records and documents. Well, as you know, they all have to do that anyway. That's just a threat. That's just a bully threat, you know?
Yeah. Steph, look, the darkness is descending on America. There's no two ways about it. Hopefully it will wait until after tomorrow night's Sexy Liberal show. But it is descending on America. So what we're going to need to do is continue to find and feed and support the points of light. And the good news is they are out there. First of all, we've got state governors and attorneys general ready to fight every unlawful executive order and other act of the Trump administration. And given the Trump lawyers available to him versus the lawyers in the states and the nonprofits who are ready to actually fight for the rule of law and the Constitution, they're going to crush Donald Trump and his lawyers. You know, now, will that push Donald Trump into sending the military out into the streets? I don't know. But we have to keep fighting the righteous fight. We have to keep supporting the points of light that are out there, because we will survive this. And now, Steph, it's all about getting to the midterms.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say, I so appreciate Governor Newsom right now, who is, I don't care what you see on the right-wing ecosphere, is doing a great job in unimaginable circumstances out here. And I'm glad he said he's going to try to Trump-proof California. We're going to need protection from Trump. And, I heard some right-winger go, oh, how about you fireproof it before you Trump-proof it? It's like, oh, okay. Sorry, we forgot to fireproof the entire state. He somehow would have prevented 8 months of drought and 100-mile-an-hour winds. How exactly, right?
Yeah, and Donald Trump is all about hate, right? He never posts anything positive. He's just going to try to take advantage of every disaster and, claim that somehow he is the hero in all of this. And of course, he never is. He's always the villain. But, just hold fast to the fact that when he had all of the levers of power in the first 2 years of his first administration, he couldn't do anything except get tax cuts for the billionaires and the corporations. Maybe he keeps those up and running, but he's going to be even more dysfunctional this time around with the incompetent folks he's surrounding himself with. So listen, we've got 2 years of one hell of a fight ahead of us, but we're going to remain in the fight. And ultimately, I think we're going to win that fight. It's going to take some time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just this, we were talking about just what a circus like all these hearings are, but you treated in particular, you said, so Pam Bondi said she neither listened to the recording of Trump telling the Georgia Secretary of State to find me 11,780 votes, nor did she know Kash Patel published a de facto enemies list in his book. Really? If she's clearly not interested in informing herself on the issues of corruption in government, I mean, no one believes she wasn't aware of either of those two things. I mean, so these hearings, they aren't under oath, I guess, right?
Because they are. I don't think they swore in Hegseth, but I believe they swore in Bondi. And I believe that the practices, they're all under oath. Here's the good news. Well, it's only...
Perjury's just become like a way of life for them.
Exactly. We have no appetite for going after the ruling class criminals when they perjure themselves in front of Congress. That has become clear, and she sounded a lot like Bill Barr. And unfortunately, that is where we are in America these days. But here's the good news. You don't have to be under oath to catch a criminal charge. It's called an 18 United States Code 1001 statement. It's a 1001 statement is a false statement to Congress, regardless of if it's under oath or not. That's the minimally good news. The law that applies would hold liars before Congress accountable. The bad news is nobody bothers to apply that law to the ruling class criminals.
Yeah. It is that sense of, oh my God, just nothing matters anymore. Nothing matters. I mean, you retweeted to your friend Katie Fang, who said Senator Whitehouse, who's our new best friend, by the way, who's on the show this week. Yeah. We'd like to see a White House, wouldn't we?
Sure.
Yeah. He said to Bondi, you've said you're going to prosecute DOJ prosecutors and investigators. Bondi, I said that on TV. Oh, okay, so it doesn't count. And I said, if they're bad, they'll be prosecuted. And you said, bad isn't the standard to prosecute anyone. It's actually criminal. Let's hope any future attorney general can keep those concepts straight. I mean, bad means against anything against Donald Trump.
Well, bad, I guess, in Pam Bondi's view might mean Democrats. But here's the thing. I raised 5 daughters and 1 son. My kids were bad sometimes. Doesn't mean they ought to be criminally prosecuted. It's
and you didn't put them in jail? What kind of fathering is that?
It's ridiculous for an aspiring attorney general to say, I'm going to prosecute bad people. No, you prosecute folks who've committed crimes and for whom you have enough facts to prove beyond a reasonable doubt those crimes. Not people who, in your estimation, are bad, like Liz Cheney and Jack Smith and Adam Kinzinger and others. It's just It's absurd where we are now on the law enforcement front. If these people are going to head up the Department of Justice, and gosh help us if Kash Patel becomes the director of the FBI. I urge everybody to go to his website. Kash Patel is a sock merchant. He's selling socks. He's selling, get ready for it, Kash Punisher socks. And his logo is a K, a dollar sign, and an H.
Hey, it could have been worse.
All the best FBI directors have their own online merch shops.
It could have been worse. Matt Gaetz is selling horse dewormer and ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine now. Okay, Glenn, we were just saying these whole hearings in general, it's just they use it as just an opportunity to lie, to put out, to score political points. You said, my gosh, listening to Senator Grassley's disinformation-filled ramble at the Pam Bondi confirmation hearing, perhaps a more apt term than gaslighting would be grasslighting. Glenn, you made a little joke, and it's because you're hanging out with the sexy liberals.
2 drink minimum, thank you.
Don't forget to tip your servers.
Gaslighting.
There you go.
Trademark, Glenn Kirschner. But yeah, it's just, it's like extraordinary. I was at the Hegseth hearing, my head was going to explode. This whole thing about Afghanistan, it's their political talking points that are just complete bull, right? It's like this was Trump's Afghanistan withdrawal plan that he boxed Biden into with troop drawdowns, made a deal with the Taliban, cutting out the Afghan government. But they're just going to continue to lie. And we see it here in LA every single day. There's a new lie about the fires.
Stephan, the fact that the Republicans in the Senate are prepared to sacrifice the men and women of the armed forces, people who are there to fight for our safety every day, sacrifice them to a leader in air quotes like Pete Hegseth, I do not understand where the decency and the patriotism has gone in the Republican Party and the concern for the safety of our troops. It will evaporate if they vote to confirm Hegseth.
Yeah. Now, we love all of our legal lads and ladies. Harry Littman is in San Diego, so it's too early. He's probably not up now. But he wrote a piece defending Merrick Garland, which I just wholly disagree with. I understand there are a lot of factors. Of course, it's not just one man. It's not just Merrick Garland. But I just disagreed with Harry's piece. And now, you're sexy liberal co-star who will join us tomorrow night, Jamie Raskin, he and Dan Goldman have written a letter to Merrick Garland saying, please drop these charges in the classified documents case, release the report, before Monday, which I hope will do. I don't have much hope that he will. Do you?
Merrick Garland was the wrong man for the moment. We needed a street fighter. We needed somebody who was as aggressive as an attorney general and any federal prosecutor can be, honestly, ethically, bound by the facts and the law. Yeah. But we needed an aggressive street fighter to try to save our democracy. Merrick Garland was not that guy. He was more concerned with optics and people potentially criticizing the department for being political. So no, he let America down, plain and simple.
Yeah, and he definitely had help from Trump's Supreme Court. I hate to call it that, but it is. Republicans, other there's a lot of factors, but the thesis of Harry's piece is that he would never have been tried before the election, and I just disagree. I just I don't want to go through the whole, what do they call it, TikTok of this happened then and then this and this and this. But I mean, do you think there's any hope that he's going to drop the charges? I mean, they're going to be dropped Monday at 12:01, so I don't get it.
So it's interesting, Steph, dropping the charges against Donald Trump's co-conspirators, his co-defendants in the classified documents case, Walt Nauta and Carlos de Oliveira. I can argue both sides of that. I want those men held accountable for the national security crimes they committed as part of Donald Trump's conspiracy. But I do think the more important, because they were Trump's flunkies. So I think the more important goal is for the American people to see what Donald Trump's documents crimes really involved and to preserve the report and the evidence for potential future use. So if it takes dropping the cases against Nauta and de Oliveira, so be it. But remember, there's a court hearing today, and I wrote a piece for MSNBC that posted yesterday, a court hearing today in the classified documents case. Aileen Cannon is presiding over it, and she has no jurisdiction to preside over it because she was deprived of jurisdiction when she won dismissed the case, and two, the case is now in the Court of Appeals, which is the only court that has jurisdiction. And here's the Department of Justice playing along and ignoring the jurisdictional impediment to doing what's being done in that Florida courtroom right now.